Looking at the clock, I see that it's 5:51 p.m. And it's been some interesting times. I mean, there's been highs and lows, and it has felt like that maybe we have been on a roller coaster ride. I mean, it's not like really peak experiences that are just like then drops, like my friend who went off the side of the semi cliff on his first hang gliding experience. He survived, no bones broken or anything. A pair of jeans that were probably destroyed, but you know, it's better than your leg or arm or shoulder or head getting messed up. Well, we're just going to start off. We only have 3 more days in this spectral moon of liberation. So the 13 months of the year in the Mayan calendar relate to moon cycles. So they're 28 days. And I guess there's a whole deal about moon cycles, but approximately 28 days. It ends up being 365 days in a year, but there's only 364 in terms of the moon cycles. So they've kind of divided these two lunar cycles, and that's how they get the exact 28 days, 13 months, 364 days. I think it all adds up. But so 3 more days of the Spectral Month of Liberation, and if you go to 13moon.com, you can decode your birthday, so you put your birth date in. It's a pretty safe site as far as I'm concerned. The people who run it are lovely, and they're probably not collecting data, and they're probably not doing any of those things. I don't know if they use cookies, who knows. But there's no saying of anything using cookies, so I'm guessing that they don't use cookies. They're pretty, like, straight up and, straight shooting stars. Straight shooters. Shooting stars. They shoot through the sky. And so there's 3 days left. So this is the 11th month. So the 11th month is the spectral month. And then it goes to the 12th month, which is the crystal month, and then the 13th month, which is the cosmic month. So, lunar tones 1 through 13, they keep repeating every 13 days within the month. So, twice a month you get all the lunar tones, because they would add up to 26. I guess one or two of those tones may get 3 tones. Lucky duckies or something. I'll tell you, I just feel so much better when I'm making these videos than I do the rest of the day. I mean, I had some really high points in this day, and then I had this like, what the heck just happened? All of a sudden, at a certain point in the day, my energy just sunk, and I went into this emotional. I didn't even remember getting triggered. I'm usually pretty aware that, I just got triggered, something's coming up. But it was just all of a sudden a feeling of desolation. I think that's the right term for the energetics. I just felt like the whole what's the use thing, and how sad can I possibly feel about nothing? Because I know there are things going on. So I could say I'm sad about this, I'm sad about that. I could make up this whole story to explain this feeling of doom, this feeling of sadness, this feeling like what's the use, hopelessness, all of those energies, which just could be how the world is feeling. I don't know. I work with a world healing field. So I set this up end of January of 2020 I was told that it would be very useful if I set up a healing field for the earth and help to ground the disturbance. And I've talked about this in other videos, but it was a very trying time for me. The first 4 days of grounding the disturbance of the earth, I felt like it was going to take me out. And I had a conversation about that with my guides, and they said it's not going to happen. You just need to call in some friends. You need to get some help on this, but you can do this. And that's what they always say. You can do this. You got this. And I always figure they got a bigger perspective on things than I do, much bigger. And I hope that mine gets bigger than it has been lately, because it's been like, I felt like I'm making a breakthrough, but it's like cracking the egg. And while you're in the middle of the breakthrough, it just feels like you're, trying to crack a shell from the inside, and you don't have much space, and you're pecking at it or doing whatever because you want to come out of that. And in the dream world, I woke up from the dream world like 2 mornings ago, I think it was. It's getting hard to keep track of the days, but I think it was 2 mornings ago. Could have been yesterday. Really could have been yesterday. Where I woke up from the dream world, and it was just like, you need to connect with a higher consciousness. And so did you see the light go up when I did that? So you need, see how it got a little darker. You need to connect with a higher consciousness. See, it gets brighter when you connect with a higher consciousness. So there's a good example of that process working. Now, if I go back, I flicked, went a little darker. When I go out, there it goes. It gets brighter. And I feel brighter when I go out. So I just got to remember that if I get into this state of just inside the head, why am I having these feelings? And why am I so deep in these feelings? It's like, because you're choosing to be. Because if you practice, and so this is a suggestion, and this is also what I do, if you practice zooming out, just go out. And you can practice, like, go out 3 feet from the body, see how you feel. Go out 6 feet from the body, see how you feel. Go out 12 feet from the body. You notice this doubling? It makes it easier to remember. You start with 3 and you double. 3 to 6. Notice it? 6 to 12. Notice it? 12 to 24. Notice it? 24 to 48. Notice it? And when you get out there to 48, notice how that feels. Does it feel like there's a lot more space? And of course, I'm asking you that, and then you're going like, yeah. Some of you are going like, no. Either way is fine. And after 48 feet, you go beyond 48 feet, boom. That is fifth dimensional consciousness. I don't know why. They've just taken me through this so many times, and you get out to 48 feet, and you go beyond 48 feet, and the thing just opens up. So practice that. Practice going as far as you need to go. So if you go to 3 feet and you feel like, oh, that lightens it up, then work with yourself from 3 feet. If it takes 6 feet, 12 feet, 24, 48 feet, 5D consciousness, whatever it takes, and it may just take, putting your earbuds in. So, excuse me for putting them on and then coughing in your ear and then realizing how low this was set in terms of the volume. So, but I can't check it right now because I'm in the middle of making a video. So, and it could be that you just have to skip ahead to the part where you can hear. Okay, so I was talking about this being the 11th month, lunar month, in the 13-month year of the Mayan calendar, this being the spectral month of liberation. Don't you just feel like it'd be great to be liberated from your own thought processes, the own reality you've created and maybe continue to create? I know it would be for me, because I've been, it was in 1986. So, that makes it pretty close to 40 years, right? 2006, 2026. So, in a couple of years, it'll have been 40 years that my neuro-linguistic programming teacher asked me, Steve, do you create your own reality? And I paused, being a thoughtful person, I paused and thought about it, and I thought, yeah, I create my own reality. And I go, yeah, I create my own reality. And he said to me, then why do you make yourself so miserable? And I got this kind of tight-lipped face, and I thought in my mind, F off, you a-hole. Like, I'm not going to study with you anymore. You're just mean. I got really super triggered. And it took me 7 years to realize what a wonderful question he had asked me. And I finally was able to answer it. Oh, I don't know. I guess I should change and make myself less miserable. So I did. So that was after 7 years. Interesting. These are all 7-year cycles. And it was, it was a long time ago. Coming up on 40 years ago. So here we are, the spectral moon of liberation, kind of freeing our consciousness up to connect to these higher realms. Whatever you may want to make up about them, feel free. You can make it up that there's this being up there or this being up there, or you can actually find yourself interacting with some being that's out there. It may actually be a being that's out there that's interacting with you. Could be the Hathors, could be any one of the members of the healing team, the earth healing team. There are a lot of really great beings in that. Whoever it is, if you feel like you're connected to them and they don't make you feel bad, but assist you when you are feeling bad, when you ask for it, like, can you help me come out of this? Then they can. I mean, anybody in that higher dimension, whether they be fifth dimensional beings, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th. And that's my understanding, that how many there are in our little container of consciousness of this universe. But there are also interdimensional beings, and there are other levels that we're just not working with here, right now. Although we are actually bringing in some of those energies from the higher levels to assist us in this transition we're going through. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, it doesn't really make sense to me. I can make it make sense. This is just what I understand and have been told by the voices inside my head. So if you feel like you can trust the voices inside my head, then go ahead. But I'd suggest you just trust your own experience. So listen to the words I say, the things I've been taught over the, this whole lifetime, 73 years. I was really conscious of being trained when I was 7. So I guess at the age of 7, you kind of wake up to your reality and the people around you, and you realize I'm not like them or whatever. And so if I'm 73, then I was 67 years ago that I was 7. Is that right? 60? Yeah, whatever. But at one point I was 7. Probably it would have been 60, 7, 6, 13. What difference does it make? It was 60-some years ago that I was having conversations with these beings. And they were telling me about how to get through my life. And I needed help because I decided, if we create our own reality, I decided to incarnate with some really difficult people to live with who had ideas about who I was supposed to be on all levels. And and I was not, I was like herding cats. You've heard of the term herding cats? Trying to get me to go in the direction that people are going, where I'm seeing all the directions that are available and going like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? This is so much better. And I immediately, as soon as I could remember, I wanted to go into other people's churches because I wanted to know what the difference was. Like I went to this church and people did this thing, genuflect, 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 genuflect. There's a song about it. It's really good. It's called something rag. But anyway, just type in, do your search on it. Genuflect, genuflect, genuflect is a great song. I know I'm getting a little bit off track, but I am off track. My life has been off track in relationship to other people's views of how my life should be and what is on track and how it is that you're behaving correctly and what your score is, your AI score. Are you behaving correctly? Are you saying words correctly? Are you saying the correct words and putting them together like you're being taught to put them together? So are you saying safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective? If you're saying safe and effective, then you know you were paying attention, safe and effective. And I would say to you, well, what does that mean to you? Well, it means safe and effective. I go, okay, great. Let's put it right there. And let's hold that as a thought form as we move through this experience where a lot of people are wondering, what the heck? Safe, effective? I don't think so. But we don't know, and we want to hold good thoughts for anyone who participated in safe and effective on a physical level. And we all participated on a mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. We all participated in the whole, what could be called thought form of it. "4 years. Can you feel that? 4 years. It's not over. I think it was March. It's over 4 years. It was March where they started. Shake that one off. If you've ever watched the National Geographic video, you could just type in National Geographic video of the lion taking down a zebra. And the lion takes down the zebra, and it's going to be a kill. Like, I don't have any bad energies around lions who are out there getting food for their family. It happens to be a zebra. I don't have any particular attachment to zebras. I mean, they look like horses, and I like horses, but it could, if it had been taking down a dog, people were like, "Oh my God, it's a dog!" Like I have personal experiences with dogs, and this lion's taking down this dog. But that happens too, especially in Colorado, where people put up these, 12-foot fences so they can have their dog be outside, and then the people look outside, and this mountain lion has gotten in over the 12-foot fence, climbed over it, and has their dog, and is climbing back out again with the dog, and it's taking it off like it went to a fast food restaurant. Now, I mean, it happens. It happens. And if it's your dog, like I guess here on the island, a guy was walking along with his schnauzer, and an eagle swooped down and just picked up the schnauzer, pulled the leash right out of the guy's hand, and took off flying with his schnauzer. I mean, I'm an animal lover, and I tell you, I think about it. I don't picture it, but I think about it, how it is when, somebody's dog's hit by a car. I had that happen. My dog was hit by a car. It took well, not as long as it might have, but it took a long time for him to recover from that, chasing a deer. Out on its own, chasing a deer across a busy street, boom, got hit, the car's going fast. Took him home, worked on him for, I don't know, 6 weeks. He didn't get up. And when I would try to take him outside just to go pee or something, I'd pick him up and everything. He was really a lovely dog, but he would growl to let me know this isn't appropriate. If I need to go, I'll let you know, or just let me lie here, and if I pee, clean it up for me. But I'm in a lot of pain. And so I learned to go over there and look at him, you want to go out? And he'd go, yeah, let's do this. And then I'd carefully pick him up and carry him outside and set him down, He had broken ribs. He had all sorts of things. And my wife is a Reiki master, so she was doing Reiki with him. I do energy healing. I was doing energy healing with him. We were just working on him a lot. Whenever I had time, we were just working on him. And he came to the other end, and he ran faster. So I don't know if he then was able to catch deer. He didn't run off as often after that. He used to just like take off and just be gone in the woods for periods of time. All right, so I'm just going to check on the time and just see how ridiculously long I can talk. So I met these two women. They both, I think both already responded to me on this site because I met them out at the lighthouse at Fort Casey, and we had this wonderful time together. And they are from the Virgin Islands, but they've been living in a Seattle suburb for, I think, quite a few years. Quite a few. And they were exploring the island, and I ran into them, and they just seemed like really lovely people. So I ended up having this conversation, and it went on and on and on. And it wasn't completely a monologue, but it was somewhat. But anyway, I think that happened yesterday. And they had already gone to my YouTube channel and written me a really nice note about what a nice time they had that day. Yeah, I think yesterday. So I'm noticing how much better I'm feeling. If you've gone this far, you might be feeling better too. But I was really working with some heavy energies earlier. I was doing it, expanded out, ego perspective. Get out there and work with this energy from a distance, 3, 6, 12, 24, 48, 5D. Just get out there as far as you can until it's comfortable, and then clear that energy as gently and easily and quickly as you can, because I don't want to set this into motion, but just the times that are happening now, just we're in the last 10 months or so of the spiritual cleansing, which means all of our stuff just got to go. All of our unresolved stuff just needs to complete itself. It's happening in the dream world. It's happening in the wake world. This has been my focus of my life for over 50 years, is clearing this stuff with myself and others, and it's just right now non-stop. I just don't feel there's any breaks from this. And it may be because I kind of avoided it to some degree, and it may be this is just what happens when the energy goes up and your stuff comes to the surface and you got to let it go. So this is the last 3 days. Today is Monday, so actually after today there's only Tuesday and Wednesday, and the Mayan calendar month is complete. So interesting that my wife, her son, my stepson, and I are on either side of her in the Mayan calendar. So she's a yellow sun, and her sun is a blue storm. And I am a red dragon. So over the next few days, like today, Monday, is a blue spectral storm in the month of the spectral moon of liberation. So it's a blue spectral storm day. Tomorrow is a yellow crystal sun day, and it's Tuesday. And then Wednesday is a red cosmic dragon day. So, when they calculate, and they'll do it for you, so you don't have to go through and do all these numbers. And if you have the calendar, it'll tell you how to calculate your own kin day. My kin day is 221, 221 out of 260. So there's 260 kin, and you're somewhere in that. You might be kin 3 or kin whatever. I'm kin 221. Basically, it takes 260 days to go through all the moons and all the months. So you get, I get 2 red dragon months, 2 red dragon days every month. So I don't know if it's twice a year or once a year that your particular day will show up. For me, it's Wednesday, so it's in 2 days. And it's a red cosmic dragon day. Cosmic is the 13th tone of the lunar tones. When that is complete, we move into, on Thursday, we move into the crystal moon of cooperation. Now, I'm actually going to find this. I'm going to find this thing that I read yesterday, and I'm going to read it again because it was so lovely. And this was written by the lighthouse keeper, whose name was Hans Score. And this was his final log entry from June 30th, 1922. Now I don't know if that was his last day on Earth. Like on June 30th, he wrote in the log that he fell down the stairs of the lighthouse. I could look it up probably and find out. Or if he just retired on June 30th, 1922. But his last entry into the logbook was this, and feel these words as I read them to you. Sail to joy and fortune, with fair wind and free. Let love and friendship guard you as Neptune guards the sea. Keeper Hans Score, final log entry, June 30th, 1922. That, to me, is just such a lovely poem. And so we're coming into the crystal moon of cooperation. The 3 words are dedicate, universalize, and cooperation. Following, and that will go through Wednesday, June 26th, and then we'll move into the last month of the year on June 27th, and that will go through July 24th. July 25th is the day out of time, and next year's year will start on July 26th. It's going to be quite, well, I'm looking forward to completing the Spectral Month of Liberation. It's felt like, kind of the slaves of consciousness have been set free. Now what do we do? And so if we follow the calendar, what we do is we cooperate with each other. We dedicate, we universalize. Just get that higher consciousness. Just do it as often as you can. Just take yourself out 3 feet, 6 feet, 12 feet, 24 feet, 48 feet, 5D, get out there and experience the wonderful feeling of everything working together in 5D. That's the place we're moving to. Practice being there. Do some remodeling of your house so that your house is prepared for these 5D energies. That's what this is all about, this last 27 years and this last 10 months of the 28-year process is all about just cleaning house, just get rid of everything. You get to keep your body, as far as I know, and this body is going to move into this higher level of consciousness, and there's going to be this cooperation. So this next month, coming up on Thursday, which in Pope Gregory's, we'll call him Greg, Pope Greg, in his calendar that he brought in, who knows where, when, 1580 or whatever. I can look it. You can look it up. Look it up for yourself. Do some work here. Anyway, it's gonna. So Thursday, May 30th is Crystal Day 1. Thursday, this Thursday, and it's a moon of cooperation. And the words that it says are, do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good that overwhelm the world. And that was Desmond Tutu. That seems great. I'm going to finish with that. I feel so much better. Thank you all very much for assisting me to clear whatever it was that needed to clear. And hopefully my doing that on camera will actually take you through the process of doing that for yourself. That's the idea of this. If you were feeling those funky energies and you come out of them, say, that was really helpful. And even get explicit if you want. In this way, I was feeling this, I watched the video, I ended up in a different place. I ended up feeling that expanded consciousness. I felt much more connected with the universal consciousness of cooperation. That means you're prepared for Thursday. All right, that's it. I'm going to finish this one up, and we're calling this the Mayan calendar reading, and it was only 32 minutes. I'm sure I'll watch it. All right, that's it. Now let's go. Be yourself.